Hey everyone. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Alexander said, I run a company called Partner Build Advisory, and we help software companies grow through channels and partnerships, so referral networks, reseller networks, white labeling, marketplaces. A lot of companies, they start with inbound and then they kind of dabble in outbound and have BDRs and field sales, and then they think, hey, there's another way to do this. I want to sell, through another company. I want to, I don't want to pick the apple, I want to pick the orchard. So how do you go and make money and grow your business through third-party relationships? And that's what I help them do now. So I work with companies to find the right partners, to figure out the right commercial models, onboard those partners, make money with those partners, and then scale teams and systems underneath of it. And before doing this, I did this. I just did it for 25 years at a whole bunch of amazing companies here in Toronto. I was at Ceridian Dayforce. And then I was at Docebo. I was at a company called 7 Shifts up in Saskatoon, and another company called Imburse. So really fortunate to be part of those. And for the record, when people hear partnerships, they're like, oh, product, this, that, strategic, you go for coffees. Like, I'm a sales guy. I know you're surprised. But I carried a quota, I carried a number. I've been on the revenue team, reported to CROs and CEOs. I'm really proud to have been and contributed to 2 IPOs, a Series B, a Series C, and a private equity roll-up. So let's dig in. First thing I want to say is that no one wants to sell your shit. That's it. Everyone's like, oh, but I go to the partner and will you sell my shit? And the partner's like, I don't want to sell your shit. I have my own shit to sell. You're like, yeah, but what I have is so awesome for my customers. They're like, yeah. So you go to Deloitte and you're like, Deloitte, I want you to introduce me to all your CFOs and wrap a practice around it. I'm like, no. Or you go to Salesforce, you're like, I want to be at the top of the app exchange, and you got to sell us to all your VP of sales. They're like, no, I have my own stuff to sell. Or you go to RBC and you say, will you bundle my stuff with all of your business checking accounts? They're like, no, I have my own shit to sell. I don't need to sell your shit. And the crazy thing is everyone in this room is a salesperson, right? Our job is to ask questions and solve problems and understand people's motivation. Put up your hand if you would ever go to a direct, a customer in any of your roles and say, buy my shit now, because it's awesome. Put your hand up. Exactly, we would never do, but something happens, whether it's a founder or a CRO or a sales manager, you would never do that in front of a customer. The second we get in front of a partner, we put our heads down and we say, you gotta sell my shit. So, it doesn't work. So the question is, well, what does work if they don't want to sell your shit? And there's only 5 things that work. And when I put this up here, yes, there's we can go into the strategy of why companies partner. They want to differentiate and go to market faster and, play offense and have better products and all this stuff. I'm talking about when you're working out there, as a sales folks, when you're working with a partner rep on the other side. There's only 5 things that person cares about. And the first is that you help them win. You help them sell their own shit, okay? And whether that's, you add something to their deal that makes it go faster, or something to their deal that pushes the customer over the line, but they care about selling their own things. The second one is that, yeah, you help them retire quota. So maybe you expand the deal. Maybe they resell one of your products. Maybe the deal gets a little bit bigger or a little juicier because of how you're helping them, okay? And you can tell I'm going in order of priority here, and you're nodding because put yourself in those shoes. Someone comes to you and says, sell my shit, and you're like, no. But if someone comes to you and says, hey, I'm gonna help you win all of the core stuff that you need to sell, your ears perk up. The next thing is get paid. So some of you may work with referral partners where they're not retiring quota or anything on the other side, and you can pay them. It's no shame, we're all in sales. It's one of the reasons that we do this. So if you can pay folks and you can spiff them, that works. Recognition. So somebody sends you a referral, somebody does a deal, you CC their boss on it. You CC the executive in the company. People have egos, they want to get recognized. And finally, because they like you. Partnerships is a relationship game. At the end of the day, people are not going to call you, they're not going to want to speak to you, and they're not going to want to do business with you unless they like you. So the first mindset shift when you're working with partners is to not let your brain fall out, do what you do best as a salesperson, but think about the partner rep or the person on the other side as the customer. So what are you solving for them? What's in it for the partner rep on the other side other than, we sell my shit, because it doesn't work, okay? What's this? Not a trick question. It's a goldfish, okay. And this is an urban myth, but we'll go with it anyway. What's unique about a goldfish? What's the people say about goldfish? Thank you, they have no memory, okay? Now, I'll pause and say, like, someone who's like, I Googled it, and they actually have a phenomenal memory. I'm like, yeah, but it goes well for the presentation. So, like, bear with me here, right? So the reason I put this up here, so this goldfish, and no offense to Ben, this is a Google ad. Right? Google doesn't care. You just go buy more Google ads. You burn a Google ad, and you go through it, and the person doesn't click, and you pay for it or whatever. They don't care. This is a BDR call cadence. Like, you're crushing it. You're sending emails. You're phoning. You're LinkedIn. You're doing all these things. You burn one of those. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they don't care because there's no memory. Okay, they just keep going in circles. What's this? It's a bucket. Okay, what do you think goes in the bucket? Water. And what is the thing? How do you get the water? From the well. Note to self, put a picture of a well and not a bucket on the screen and don't have to ask 3 questions. Okay, why do you think I put this up here? What's the amazing thing about a well? That it keeps going, it keeps giving. If you treat it well and you keep it unpolluted, that you can keep going back to it, right? Now, what do they say? What happens if you drop something bad in there? What happens if you pollute the well? It dries up, and not only that, it pollutes the things around them. This, unfortunately, is what happens, well, both fortunately and unfortunately, on how you work with partners. Okay, so if you think of Google Ads as transactional, or you think of BDRs, the kind of cadences as transactional, when you work with partners, they remember. You help a partner rep on the other side close a deal and win a deal, like BFFs for life. Likewise, like I said, you screw somebody on the other side, or you stall one of their deals, or you insert friction into someone else's on the other side deal, everyone's nodding, good luck. And not only are they never gonna sell your stuff again, they're gonna tell other friends on their teams, no, like, do not introduce this person, they're gonna do it. So there's a cyclical pattern to this. So the next thing is to think of the difference when you're working with partners is relationships versus transactions, okay? And there is that flywheel aspect where partners can be exceptionally good at driving more volume if you're solving problems for them. It can also go down the drain very, very, very quickly. Okay, so that is similar to what Ben was saying. That right now is the partner rep on the other side when you talk to them. Because what we say to them is, back to the first slide, will you sell my shit? And they're like, okay, fine, yeah, maybe I'll sell your shit, but who should I sell to? You're like, everyone. I want all your leads in the history of time. We sell to SMB, mid-market, enterprise. We sell in every region, everything. And they're like, their minds go blank. So imagine this. When you turn to someone and you say, hey, what kind of music do you listen to? The person goes, I listen to everything. Well, that's the end of the conversation, right? It's like there's nothing goes on in someone's mind. But if you say, oh, I listen to 70s classic rock or early 90s hip hop or whatever, it's like, oh, there's a discussion. Same thing. Hey, I want to set up my friend with someone. Oh, what are they looking for? Someone awesome. Yeah, thanks. Blank stare, right? Like, give a little bit more. So the point here is start with where you win and be very, very, very specific when you speak to your partners. I want to work with credit unions with 200 employees in northeastern Saskatchewan that have this amount in revenue. I want to work with a perfect opportunity for me where I'll crush it as a restaurateur who owns 4 restaurants in downtown Toronto, with $4 million in revenue. What you want to be doing is literally painting a picture in the other person's mind of 1 to 3 customers. You don't need all their customers. You need 1 to 3, and then you build that relationship. So be very, very, very crisp on where you win and what you say. So it was fast, but I wanted to leave you with these, again, to recap those 3 things, that when you're working with partners, it's a different skill. In some ways, you build on a lot of the things that naturally make us all good salespeople, the listening skills, the problem-solving skills, all of those things. But these are like deal breakers. Like, if you don't figure out what's in it for the rep on the other side, and again, I wanted to put it like a poop emoji and say, like, sell your shit, but I figured I'd do that little more refined icons there. Figure out how your partner rep is motivated. Remember that it's not a transaction. You're not BDRing your partner rep. You are building a relationship with him because it's a well that can keep giving. And finally, don't tell them I want everything on it. Be very specific. You want literally in their mind to picture, I want 3 customers. You see I put a little 1, 2, 3 in there? So that's what you're looking for when you work with partner reps. Thanks.
Questions? We'll take 2. Okay, one at the front.
Hello, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm founder, and we are very early. We cannot have salespeople, right? So we gotta sell our own shit as a founder.
Nice.
Can you give some pointers on founder-led sales? And the second question is, do you want to buy automated data solutions?
Well, okay, so founder-led sales, probably not the best guy to answer it. I mean, I technically am a founder of my own company, of my one-person consulting firm. So not the best, but what I can say is, at least for me, I practice what I preach. So if you're curious on how I sell, I do it all through partnerships. All of my business comes through venture capital, private equity, advisors, other people that are already speaking to the kinds of SaaS companies. But generally, probably not my area of expertise. And the second one, no, I don't need that yet.
Oh, and then one more.
I can yell.
Yep.
If you work with a lot of VCs and partners and startups and stuff, do you have a sense of like when's the inflection point in the sort of maturity life cycle where partnerships becomes not a terrible idea?
Yes, that is an awesome question. And people ask me all the time. And I would say, when working with early stage founders, so again, when I tell people, by way of example, they say, who do you work with? I said, I work with SaaS companies between 5 and 50 million. Right? I don't say all of them, I work with a gazillion. Like, I know, and it's a scale-up program. So to answer your question, I look for 3 things. And it's not to say that you have to have all 3, but they're compounding. So if you're not great in any one of these, your likelihood of success with partnerships is very low. The first is that you have product market fit. Okay, so much in the same way that you want to sell my shit, partners are never going to tell you the problem that you solve. You have to tell them the problem that you solve, and you need to, it's like broken telephone. It's one thing to try and sell it yourself or maybe teach your first AE. Imagine trying to teach ADP's 5,000 sales reps if you don't know the problem that you're solving. So product market fit. The second one is ICP. We sell mid-market, SMB, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not the partner's job to help you segment their customer base. Tell them who you sell to and be as specific as possible. And the third one is a repeatable sales process. Anything that is broken internally, that you don't know how to sell direct, your demo's not right, your scripts aren't right, your discovery's not right, you don't know how to contract, you got shit funnel all over the place. Game over when you go to a partner because it blows up exponentially. So, you know, in my experience and over the years, typically around the 3 million mark is when people start to look at actually doing commercial partnerships like this. You can do it earlier, but you have to have those 3 things or it's going to be really, really, really hard.
Okay, round of applause. Thank you. Thanks so much.